Good afternoon, everyone. Hope all is well. So, we are now going to be going live with a property investment consultant who consults his investors in the UK property market, of which property, as I mentioned, we're going to be going live right now with Az from Levantage Investments, who deals with property investments all around the UK and consults his investors on what property to invest in and what property is going to generate the right income, the better income, the higher income, and where to make decisions on certain properties. So it's going to be good to talk to him. Come on. Hello, Anish.
New visitor.
Oh, lucky essence. Hope all is well. Sorry, I'm just waiting for my guest to turn up. He should be here shortly. Here we go. Super.
Hello,
As
how you doing?
good and yourself?
I'm all right, man. I've literally just finished a viewing in Manchester. I'm just walking back to the car now, so just apologise for the background noise.
It's all right, don't worry. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's a pleasure to
Ah,
have you on to share the
thanks, Chris.
knowledge of what you do, how you do it in the property investment world. So thank you so much for coming on.
Oh no, thanks for considering me and thanks for asking me, man. It's an honor.
Not a problem. Before we get the conversation going, I would like you to introduce yourself to the world as to who you are and what you do so that we can get the conversation moving forward.
Right, no worries. Literally, I'm coming into the car now.
Sure.
Um, ah, Good afternoon, world.
Hey.
My name's Ez. I'm a property investment consultant. I'm based in Manchester, and I basically do a number of things. It very much depends on what's required, but in a nutshell, I work with investors to kind of source, acquire
Okay.
investment opportunities on their behalf, and that entails a lot of different things, you know. So in a nutshell, I'm a property investment consultant working with both beginners and experienced investors to kind of maximize their return on investment from what they've due to acquire or what they've already purchased,
Great.
if that kind of
So,
makes sense.
um, before we move forward, I ask this to all my guests that come on here. I mean, growing up, we always think about doing something different, right? Either becoming a doctor, a police officer,
hmm
an architect, an engineer. What did you aspire to become when you were growing up, going to school,
Right,
college,
this is such a
university?
good tune.
What did you aim to be in life?
Me growing up, I never really enjoyed writing or doing essays. So I was very physical, so I was a dancer, to be honest.
Okay,
And so what I did, I grew up with a passion of becoming an actor or a performer of some
okay,
sort. So I actually went to uni. I graduated from a acting course at the
okay,
University of Central Lancashire.
okay,
But I also did applied business, okay, because I also had the intention of one day going into business.
okay,
Now, I did go into acting for a while until I just thought to myself, I want to do something that's a little more consistent in terms of income.
okay.
So the acting industry is good, but you find yourself only landing opportunities once in a while. It wasn't very consistent. So I
Yeah,
went into business, luckily. And before I went into business, I actually went back to uni to do law.
okay.
Because as an African boy,
Peer
with
pressure, peer pressure.
African parents, you know,
Absolutely,
you got to
absolutely.
do something
I
that
mean,
they
I
acknowledge.
I've got a African background colleague here who
Yeah.
works at VTH, and he's also
hmm
got peer pressure from his parents to complete university. But I'm trying to
You see?
brainwash him into the sense that, look, if you sell property out here, you will make more income in one day than you will make in your whole year working as a quantity
Exactly,
surveyor. But
exactly.
hopefully I can sort of brainwash him on that sense. So you were talking about acting. Why acting? What was so amazing about acting that you wanted to get into it and pursue a career in there?
Um, it was genuinely
Yep,
recreate. You know, acting really allows you to explore not just other characters, but other parts of yourself.
yeah,
And I enjoyed that, you know. So whenever you're given a new piece of script and you got to study this script, you kind of engulf yourself into becoming someone new.
of
And
course,
upon discovering that new person, you kind of discover who you are as well. Do you know, if he's a very opposite to you, you learn from the opposite. Do you know? So
of
and
course,
that's what
of
that's what I
course.
enjoyed, and that was it basically. And I mean, if you look me up, I'm still an actor. I still do a bit of acting here and there. I do have professional credit. And as of 2017, apparently, I have an IMBD page
Wow.
according to Google, do you
Wow.
know? So I have done a few stuff professionally. So I am still involved in the acting world, but mainly on my day to day, I'm in properties, do you know?
Okay.
But that's why I enjoyed about acting. And also, there was no writing. It was all, there's no writing.
It all came
No,
from
no,
the brain. It all came from
yeah,
performance, you know. So you gotta be
exactly,
good at performing so that you can be an actor. So you
exactly.
mentioned that you went to university to do your acting course and everything, and
Yeah.
then you got into the acting sector, and then you pursued the property industry to generate that passive income, to generate an income so that it can take you forward in life. Why did you get from acting into property? Why the transition?
The transition actually was between that break period whilst being an actor and etc. I've always, because I've also did business, you know,
Okay,
and you learn a lot of different sectors, and property was definitely something that kind of always drawn me towards it, you know.
okay, okay.
Something about properties made me want to get into
Was
properties.
that from a young age, or was that when you went to university, you finished your acting school, and then you saw that, okay, property is also something that I want to get into, and this is
Nah, it's definitely not from a young age, you know.
okay.
From a young age, depending on what kind of household you grew up from, you're not raised to go ahead and get into properties, you know. It's definitely, properties is definitely something that you discover. You come to the realization of, oh wow, I want to get into this. This looks interesting, you know.
Of
It is
course.
not something that unless you come from a family of developers and you're something you're naturally into. But I believe properties for me was something that I discovered as something that interested me, and therefore I wanted to expand that interest. And I find myself applying for a job and working for an estate agent in Preston. And whilst I was that estate agent, I really got to understand the game. And my sole reason for getting a job there was to learn. You know,
Okay.
you need to learn and understand where
Absolutely.
you're about to go into. So, what where else can you go and learn if not at the front line?
Of course. Absolutely. You gotta
It
you
was
gotta
as
be
simple as
you
that.
gotta be you gotta be at the front line to get yourself hands into that industry, to learn about that industry, to see what that industry is going to offer you. So you mentioned you were
Exactly.
in the you got into an estate agent in Preston. How easy was it to get into an estate agent's job? I mean, was it did you have to go through a lot of interviews, a lot of processings
Um,
that got you there, or was it
I
straightforward,
would.
easy?
It was pretty straightforward. I think that there's this illusion that you need to have pre-experience in something before you get in it. I think you really got to have the interest to get in it. You know,
Of
you
course.
got to really think about. I really want to get into this. And when you go speak to people, when you do apply for a job, if your interest and your interest really speaks volume, that yeah, this person is serious about this, they'll consider that more.
Of
I was
course.
eager to learn. I was young. I wanted to learn something new. I wanted to acquire new skills. And I believe that's why I was given the job. And literally I walked into the place and I said, my name is such and such. I've not long graduated from this university. I want to work here. Do you guys have any jobs going? I said, well, if you bring in your CV and we'll take it from there. And I literally told him, I am my CV. I'm right here, you know? And I think I went there consider on a Thursday or Friday, and I started the job on the Monday.
That
The
is
person was that
that that
impressed.
that is the
It was
don't you think that is the attitude every single person should have? I mean, CV is just a
100%.
document, right? You can
Yeah,
okay, you can put your degrees and your hobbies and your schooling and your
exactly.
university, but the living person is the person who's going to do the job at your company. So
Exactly.
CV doesn't make any sense. I mean, today,
No, it doesn't. I think it's really about thinking outside of the box and being different. I went there. If you have a set goal that you want to achieve, you got to know that's what you want. I
of
went
course,
there saying I want a job. My name's such and such. I've just graduated from this university. I'm interested. I was wondering if you guys have any jobs going. At the time, they were not hiring. I can say they told me, so we're not looking for anyone at the moment. But if you leave in your CV, and we'll let you know when we are. I said, and I told them. I don't have a, I feel something along the lines of, I don't have a TCV, or I am my CV, which is why I'm here. Could you not consider me as can you not consider me as I am right here? Do you know
Yep,
what I mean?
yep, yep.
And at that point, it kind of turned into an interview. It was like, oh, have you ever done properties in the past? No, I haven't, but I'm sure I can learn. You ever worked for an estate agent? No. Have you ever done lettings? No, I haven't, but is it just not showing people houses? Yeah. And he said, do you have a full UK license? I said, yes, I do. Do you have any points? He says, no, I don't. I said, okay, what's your number? I gave him my number. Then I think we kept talking some more just about what I've studied and what I'm doing in Preston, where I'm from. I said, I'm from Manchester. So why are you still in Preston? Well, I'm in Preston because I don't want to go back to Manchester. I want to look for opportunities here. I said, okay, that sounds interesting. So he took my number. And then I believe after that, I got a call on the Monday saying, from the same person who ended up being the director, saying, come in on Monday, I want to see you. And he came in and said, do you still want the job? I said, yeah, of course. Well, you can start today. I said,
Wow.
okay. Do you know, and it was as
Wow.
easy as that. It was easy as
Wow.
that. And I thought, okay, brilliant. Do you
And
know, and
that's where your property journey sort of started.
that's where it started. You know,
Wow. And
that's
so
where it started.
how long did you stay with those estate agents at in Preston?
About 18 months,
Okay. And was that a good experience for you in terms of
100%.
learning about the industry, learning about what people want within their property? I mean, how easy was it to adjust yourself coming from an acting background to then now into the property world? Was it easy to adjust, dealing with people, dealing with clients, dealing with big money, big properties, all that kind of stuff?
Well, at that point, you're looking more one only, you know. So
Okay.
I didn't know much about dealing with clients' funds, dealing with sales. I focused solely on lettings.
Okay.
And because the estate agent was pretty much known for its student lets, I dealt with student lettings, you know, international students, national students. So I was
Got you.
dealing a lot more with the students. However, I was learning on the job.
Of
I was
course.
asking questions about the sales process,
Of
about how
course.
clients come around, how much your clients spend, what are clients buying. I was asking questions because just because I'm in lessons doesn't mean I can't learn more. Do you know?
Absolutely.
So I
Absolutely.
was
And
always
that's
eager
the
to
attitude
question.
that individuals should have, that if they're doing
Hmm.
one certain job and within that company, other people are doing other jobs, and if you're intrigued to know what they're doing, it's always good to ask the question. And
Of course, you
it's amazing
you
what you've done.
you definitely have to be inquisitive and be willing to ask questions and more questions. And I'd say that and a lot of people said it, you can't ask a dumb questions. The only dumb questions you can ever ask is a woman how old you are. They don't like them questions. You can't ask a woman how old she is. That's the only stupid and
That's
the only dumb question.
that's something my father taught me. Don't ask the woman her age and don't ask the man his salary.
That's it, you know? And I think as long as you don't ask those questions,
Yeah,
you're okay. Yeah, you know?
absolutely.
And there's no dumb questions. You know, you can ask, are you okay? Or, you know, what are clients currently spending? These are smart questions to ask, you know?
Absolutely.
Now,
So,
and I
do
think,
you worked at this company for 18 months? When did you
mhm.
decide to go on it by yourself? And why did you decide that?
Well, basically, whilst I was at that company, I noticed that they were having or getting a lot of international students
Okay.
that were coming for accommodation. Okay,
Okay.
which is where I began to notice opportunities. So I'll be handling lettings for students. So I'll have a group of 5, 6 international students walking to the office and looking for a property, you know. And at that point, I'll have to see what we have available and take them to view what we have. Unfortunately, some they would not like, some they'll be okay. So I thought to myself, is there no way for you guys to secure a property before you get here? And at the time, I didn't find any way for them. So what I
Okay.
did whilst I was there, I set up an online platform called Renting Easy,
Okay.
which solely specialized in accommodating international students that came to study at that particular university.
Sure.
So it was a platform built around building relationship with what's called educational institutes across the world,
Yep.
who will then, for example, if you look at India, for example, what they do, there's an educational institute that say, okay, this year we're going to send 53 students to Manchester University, we're going to send 12 students to Leeds. So
Yep.
that's how they operate. So
Yep.
what you do, you build a relationship with those students, with those institutes, and you say, listen, I'm aware you guys are sending 53 students to this particular university. Do they need accommodation before they arrive?
Got you.
Are you with me? So
Yep.
at that point, that was definitely a market that I explored and that I exploited and was able to profit from, until it was a case of it became very seasonal, because they'll send them for short term and then
Yep.
and towards the end of the term. So it was termly based. So the income wasn't consistent. The income was good. I wasn't complaining,
But it
but it
wasn't
wasn't very
consistent coming in.
yeah, So, and I tried to thought, okay, right now I'm currently focusing on one particular uni. Let me try Manchester University. I tried. It was very difficult to kind of get into that market. I was failing. I was struggling. So I kind of stuck with Preston. And then one day, a friend of mine kind of noticed what I'm doing with the property side and said, "Why don't you go into investment? There's a lot of people doing the bits and bobs." I said, "I don't really know anything about investment." He said, "Well, look into it more."
Hmm.
So I started doing what I do the best, asking dumb questions, as in smart questions. So I started to learn. I pick his brain. I thought, wow, the investment sector makes more sense to me.
Of course.
That's when I shifted to investment, and I've been in investment ever since.
Wow. And today you're doing property investments for your clients. You're consulting them on where to
Yeah,
buy, what to buy.
yeah.
On these properties.
That's correct.
Are you?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I was just
Okay.
asking you, how do you consult them on these properties of, yep, Mr. So and so, this is the right property to buy. This is going to generate you 8%, 10%, whatever income it's going to generate. This is the right deal. What is it, and how do you consult them on it?
I'll be honest with you, and I'll be quite frank with you. You've pretty much done it. And people seem to think what we do is rocket science, but it's basically based around understanding, first of all, your client's needs.
Of course.
That's it. That's it. Soon as you know your client's needs, you do the exact same thing you just said. This will generate you 8%, 10%. This is ideal. Once you understand your client's need, you then aim to provide them with the right opportunities based on their needs.
Absolutely. And where do you source these opportunities? Sorry, I'm going to ask you a few tricks of the trade. Where do you source opportunities, and how do you go about matching them with your clients' needs?
I think sourcing is very much about network.
Of course,
It's,
100%.
it's you don't work on, oh, let me go out. There was a time when I first started, I would spend a lot more time kind of just driving around trying to find something. But realistically, sourcing is networking. If you focus on building your network, you have more access to opportunities.
Absolutely.
It's as
100%.
simple as that. There's no two ways about it, and that's how I work. I believe I've built a good enough network with people, and I'm always very open with people and said, this is what I do, this is who I do, this is who I'm speaking to. If you need anything, let me know. And I just leverage from my network. One of the most important word in properties is leverage. If
Absolutely.
you can leverage from your properties, you need to leverage from your network.
Yeah.
Simple.
It's all about
It's
it's
as
all about
simple.
right? It's all about leveraging what you've learned, your experience, your network,
Exactly.
your social media, your learnings, your education on property, using that platform to more, and to move
Definitely.
forward. And it's a good word you've used out here, that leverage on your network to do property deals with your network.
Of course, you have to leverage. There is no other ways of doing this. If you do not leverage, you can't profit.
Absolutely.
We
Absolutely.
leverage all the time. We leverage from the lessons, from the things we've learned in school. From the moment
Absolutely.
we can count 1 to 2, we're leveraging from the lessons we've learned. So
Absolutely.
leveraging is applicable in all areas of our lives, and I try to leverage from anything that I've learned. If I've learned something, I try to, okay, so that's what it is, then I apply it. Do you know?
You
You
got
must always be able to do that,
right.
connecting the dots. Exactly.
Yeah.
It could be things you've learned, you've heard in the past, in passing, whatever it is, you've learned something that you can leverage from. I
Absolutely.
remember the day I went for a job, like for this job in particular, when I went for this job, and they asked me if for the one in Preston, do you have a license? I went, yes, I did. The reason why I had a license because when I was 17, I told myself, make sure you have a license because you'll need it when you're older. Do you know what I mean? And
Of
then
course.
when
Of course.
I've been in situations where they've asked me if I had a full license, and I said, yes, I do. And then what I've done there is thank my past self for getting your license. Do you know? So there's a lot of things that we do and have done that we need to understand. We need to leverage from those and appreciate those. Do you
Absolutely.
know what I mean?
And then everything just falls into place with that.
Exactly.
Absolutely. But thank you so much for coming on here, sharing some amazing piece of knowledge on how to go out, sourcing properties, how to stay positive, have to have the right mindset to get out there and get it, whatever you're doing. It be property sourcing, it be, deal making, it be acting, for example, or if you're studying for law. I mean, so much you've covered in your life so far. I wish you all the best for that, as a,
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
whatever you do in life. Move forward, keep leveraging, like you mentioned, it's all about leveraging. Before you go, I do this with all my guests that come on here. What positive advice would you like to share with the world out there today, who's listening, who may listen to this later, so that they can take that positive advice on board and move forward in life?
What I would say is, I don't. It's not something that's not been said before, but don't look at where you are today as the end result. Simple as that. Do
Absolutely.
you know? Because we each go through different situations and circumstances, and it's very difficult for us to kind of look past where we are today,
Of course.
you know, and thinking this is it, but it's not, you know.
Absolutely.
So don't look at where you are today as the end result. That's as simple as that.
Look at where you came from to where you are, and look where you want to go.
The sun will
Absolutely.
still rise tomorrow, so
Absolutely. 100%. But thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure to have you on here, speaking to you about different things within the property world, within the acting world. And I wish you all the best.
thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much.
Take care.
All
See
right,
you
see you
soon.
later.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye. So that was Aze from Levantage Investments, based in Manchester, dealing with property investments in Manchester, in the UK, from what he was to where he is today, how he changed his, uh, the career path from acting to property. A great inspiration. Super. Thank you so much to Aze for joining me, sharing all that knowledge, and thank you to all the viewers that tuned in. It's been a pleasure to have you on, speaking to all these guests and to sharing that knowledge with yourself. Thank you so much. Have a great, great afternoon. Bye bye.